Hi, I'm Hunter Oswald, and this is my Sport and Society Sport Magnifique project for spring 2016. The country that was selected for me is Indonesia. So I am going to take a look at Indonesia and how sport and society revolves in Indonesia. So to start with, we need to kind of have a little bit of background on Indonesia. Uh, Things like their flag. This is their country flag. And then a little bit about the geographic region of Indonesia. Just a little background on it. Indonesia is a sovereign archipelago in Southeast Asia, and it's the fourth most populous country on Earth. That's after China, India, then the United States, and then Indonesia. It's made up of more than 17,000 islands with over 1.9 million square kilometers of land, which makes it the 19th largest country. So going on to the next slide, a little population demographics. They're estimated to be about 260 million people in Indonesia. Like I said, it was the fourth highest population in the world. I did a little research on the demographics of the country, and the median age is 29.2 years old. For males, they're slightly under the median age at 28.7 years old, and women are slightly above the median age at 29.8 years old. Just kind of thoughts on that. You can kind of see that the median age in Indonesia is a fairly young age, less than 30 years old. So you could definitely see that their population, their growth is just rapidly growing, and it's just going to keep growing until it reaches uh, the likes of countries like China and India here soon. Uh, Indonesia has over 300 ethnic groups. The majority of these fall under the Javanese. This is 46% of the Indonesian culture. 15% is Sundanese. 3.5% is Meitei. So quite a good bit falls under the Javanese ethnic group. Some of the languages and the religions that go along in Indonesia, their official language is Bahasa Indonesia, but they also have over 700 languages used across Indonesia. Some of these include English, Dutch, and other local dialects from distinct countries and cities inside Indonesia. The Islam religion is what makes up 85% of their population and the religion that is focused on in Indonesia. Uh, Indonesia is a has freedom of religion, and they recognize six official religions. These are Islam, Protestantism, Catholicism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and finally Confucianism. So they do offer a freedom of religion, but it is confined into these six official religions of this country. So now kind of getting into some of the sports and cultural pursuits of Indonesia. Uh, Here I put a picture of two Indonesians playing badminton. The reason I selected this is because badminton is Indonesia's most successful and popular sport. They have won gold medals in badminton in every Olympic game since badminton was introduced in 1992. So they're obviously good at it. They regularly participate in Thomas Cup, the Uber Cup, and the Sudirman Cup badminton games. That's just a couple different games that are held in the South Asia area, English area. So they take part in all those throughout the year and do very well in them. Just some of the other major sports that they host and they do pretty well in as well is soccer, or they call it football, basketball, pencak silat. That's a form of martial arts that they compete in. They actually compete in some of their games that they have, the Southeast Asian games, some of the other games that we'll get into here in a minute. Sepak takraw, which is a really cool and interesting sport, is kick volleyball. If you want to see it, I have a picture here, kind of having a demonstration. I'll also have a video on this here in a second. They also play rugby, Australian rules football, which is similar to rugby and football, and they also play polo, as seen up here in the top picture. So my next slide is going to kind of have a little introduction into the kick volleyball that I was talking about. So I'm pulling this up here for you now, and I'm going to get that going.
gave them something very difficult, very different
So
to
as you
think
can
about.
see,
It
the
was
courts are
a
set
lower
up kind of like
trajectory,
a
a bit more
volleyball
spin on
court.
it. They
There's 3
kept
players on a
targeting Port
team,
Alfin and the
and the
net.
rules are very similar.
Indonesia
They
also
have
went for a change of
3
takeoff,
hits to
and
get it over the
Victor
net,
Eka Prasetyo
but they're not allowed to
certainly
use their
gave them
hands. They use
certainly
just their
gave them
feet.
extra points, I think,
So
in that
you can see
second
some
set.
really
He's
cool
he's a
moves. You
more
see
sort of
him
high percentage
diving and spinning
takeoff.
around.
You take risks with him,
What a
but you will
kick.
win points. But he wasn't anywhere near as good, unfortunately, as the second string
So this
for
is probably one
Malaysia,
of their,
Ahmad Azad.
other than
Really
badminton,
gave
one of their
himself
other
every
main
chance of
sports that they're known
victory
for in
in the
Indonesia.
semi-finals. Maybe not
So
from the
this
start,
is just
but
some highlights
that man there,
between
he's asking questions. Hanafi
Malaysia
Adola, he's
and
saying, let me in
Indonesia,
this
I
starting lineup.
believe in
I'm every bit as
2001.
good as Khairul Zaman.
So
Okay. We get the stats here
2015 rather.
there. The serve winner.
So back to the PowerPoint. Some of the significance of the sport in Indonesia, they do have their own committee that kind of heads some of the games that they compete in. The committee is known as KONI. It's actually the Indonesian National Sports Committee. This committee was formed in 1946 and it's responsible for sport development and organizing sporting events within Indonesia. So as you can see here in the picture on the left, this is the little highlight from their 26th SEA Games Indonesia 2011, and the SEA Games is the Southeast Asian Games. So in the SEA Games, it's basically a biennial multi-sporting event involving participants from 11 Southeast Asian countries. These countries include Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Timor-Leste, and Vietnam. So as of 2011, Indonesia has won championship titles and 10 times overall out of the 18 Southeast Asian games. So they're obviously pretty good at and have performed really well in the last uh, 18 Southeast Asian games. And a cool little highlight of that, they have won the overall champion title in each of the 4 years that they hosted the SEA games. The last one being in 2011, which is pretty cool. Uh, and then finally, just a little bit of information on one of their most popular, I guess, heroes you would call it, Rudy Hartono. He is a former Indonesian badminton star who won the men's singles title at the All England Championship 8 times, and 7 of these 8 times were consecutive wins. He's considered one of the greatest badminton players of all time, not just in Indonesian culture, but in the world. His game was characterized by great power, accuracy, agility, mobility, aggressiveness, and coolness under pressure, which I would assume if you have that, you'd excel in pretty much any sport. In 1997, he was among the first group of players inducted into the World Badminton Hall of Fame. So, some pretty cool, interesting things I found out about Indonesia. Um, they are definitely a country on the rise, considering that they have some of the fourth largest country in the world. Um, they have some definitely have some unique sports that they play and that they are involved in, and it's kind of really cool to see a different kind of form of sport and how that revolves around their society, and unlike that of the United States, where we are all about American football, basketball, and even baseball. They do play basketball. That's probably their one common thing. But other than that, they have some really cool different things that they play there, and it's definitely something I want to be looking out for come the next Olympic Games and kind of pay attention to. So this kind of wraps it up for my Sport Magnifique project. I hope I was able to inform you a little bit more about Indonesian culture and how sport impacts their society. Thank you very much.